Welcome, fellow liberators and patriots alike. This is Liberty Report. I'm your co-host this weekend, Chadwick. I'm here with Marcus Cohen, and we're bringing the high energy. We're bringing this patriotism. We love you guys, and thank you for being here. Now, we have a special guest. I've been hunting this guy down for so long. He's been promising me an interview for so long, and we finally get it today. It's an honor. We have Jason Sullivan. They used to call you the Wizard of Twitter, brother. What do they call you now?
Oh, they call me a lot of things. They call me a lot of things. But, thank you for that. But, that was a nickname that I got when Ben Garrison, the world's #1 political cartoonist, did a cartoon on me about Twitter storms. Everybody's heard about Twitter storms. So I've been one of the guys behind the scenes that helped generate those type of things and create Twitter storms by design. And he did a cartoon on me when Robert Mueller pulled me into the investigation and subpoenaed me. 2 subpoenas. One for your testimony, one for all your electronic communications.
Fun stuff.
Are you still dealing with that investigation?
No. That nobody was charged. There was no Russian collusion. Okay, That never happened. Period. And there's been no evidence to the contrary. And I was pretty close to the front row seat in some of those things that were taking place, and they were trying to say that Roger Stone was coordinating the time release of hacked information by the Russians from the DNC, which never happened. We got the former lead technical director of the NSA that actually examined the documents and the timestamps and the download speeds, and those have signatures. They can tell you what type of format that those files were in. And at the end of the day, they had when files come down, they show you timestamps, and so the timestamps could be per millisecond and totally random, or they could be rounded per second. Okay. And basically, he could tell that they were rounded per second, which is a key indicator that it's a FAT file, which is basically a thumb drive or a hard drive. In addition to that, they could tell the download speeds. And the download speeds of these files, these WikiLeaks files that were apparently, dropped or, whatever, or handed over, Seth Rich, okay, the download speeds were so great that there was no internet connection known to mankind that could have transmitted those files at those speeds. Okay. In fact, they tried to replicate it in multiple, from the best internet connections around from multiple different points, and they couldn't replicate it. They could only come up to about a quarter of the speed. So another piece of forensic evidence that it was a FAT file, hard drive, or a thumb drive, period. And
that,
never hacked.
That story you just brought up, it was such a bombshell story when it came out, where they had the forensic computer scientists.
Destroys their narrative completely.
And all of a sudden, that because of the speeds, that information was downloaded physically, locally, in person on a thumb drive. It was not remotely hacked. They try to blame it on Russia. Russia hacked us. Everyone hacked us. It was taken from internally inside. And media blackout, no one talks about that. I mean, I have goosebumps when you talk about it, because that's inconclusive, definitive proof that someone inside the building took that information.
Forensic evidence.
That's right, yeah.
That was not admitted, or would not be allowed to be admitted in Roger Stone's case.
Wow.
Bill Benny was supposed to be one of the people to testify.
NSA whistleblower, right?
And NSA, one of the godfather of NSA whistleblowers, him and his partner, Kirk Wiebe.
Yeah, Kirk.
Both good friends of
mine.
We
love Kirk Wiebe.
Mentors, friends, people that I would look up to.
Yes.
They're truth tellers, that exposed a lot of, things after 9/11 about how the NSA is using their tools to spy on its own citizens, which they're not supposed to be doing. Yeah. So they used a tool that Bill Benny and Kirk Wiebe built called Thin Thread, and that's how they were able to tell that there was chatter. And so right after 9/11 on the news networks, you heard the term, there was a quote-unquote increase in chatter leading up to 9/11. You remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a term that was being used, increase in chatter. So the only reason anybody even knew that there was anything such, called a quote-unquote increase in chatter was because of Bill Benny's and Kirk Wiebe's Thin Thread program.
Wow.
And when they went back and they looked into that system, they found out that they actually had all the information that they would have needed to not only detect, but probably prevent 9/11 in the first place. So it's a lot of real questions there. Yeah. Why not? Why wasn't it stopped? Why wasn't it detected when they had the ability to do so? A lot of questions. And we deserve answers.
Yeah, we do. And that's one of the big things with just the media landscape today. You're demonized for asking questions. right? You're called every name in the book, every ism in the book, just for asking a question.
Right.
And we got to get back to not being afraid, not being intimidated, to, like you said, ask questions that deserve to be answered. And when you ask questions about tragedies where people lose lives, and then you get people saying, oh, you're disrespecting, coming up with some crazy theory. I look at it the other way. I say we're honoring the victims. I'm trying to get to the bottom of what happened. Whatever event it may be, whether it's the Las Vegas shooting or whether it's the 9/11 event, we have to find the answers, and that's how we honor the victims. So they're, we
need answers, and we need to be able to ask questions. There's no doubt, and we cannot back down from asking questions. We can never allow our government to have us cow, down, and stand down from asking questions, or peacefully protest.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Which reminds me, we do a show every Saturday at the Capitol. We encourage everyone to go to your Capitol every Saturday and peacefully make your voice heard.
Peacefully.
If you're there, they wanted to make a lot of us afraid to do some of the stuff we used to do that's constitutionally protected. We can't be afraid. We can still go down there. And we don't use the Mockingbird talking points, right? The Mockingbird media, they want to say, hey, vaccine, 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 or Russia, Ukraine, Ukraine, right? When we go down there and we say, hey, we got solutions to energy, right? We have what Trump do, he released the 0 point energy, the patents to that. We start talking about different solutions, 0 point energy, Tesla coils, solutions to cancer that we have, and stop talking about just what the Mockingbird media. We go down to the capitals where ley lines are on and use that positive energy to talk about we can make change. So don't be afraid to talk. But as far as the internet, this is a question I would love to speak to you, because you were able to make stuff go so viral, but at the same time, you know what it's like to be censored, brother. And a lot of us do. So post-censorship, the internet apocalypse, the social media, how do you stay alive, brother? How do you get the message out on the internet? And how can our followers and patriots of this country that want to tell the truth get their message out when they don't know, hey, I put something up, I'm shadow banned, I don't see any. How do you get around it, brother?
That's a great question. First off, is don't give up, period. And it can be disheartening, obviously, when you post things and you spend a lot of time and energy, and some people even money and resources, to come up with great content and seek out great content and create great content. And then you post it, and then you're not getting anybody reciprocating with you, and you're wondering, why is that? What happened? A lot of people were reciprocating with me yesterday and on this type of content the week before, and now all of a sudden nobody's reciprocating me. Well, what's going on? Maybe we did something wrong. Maybe we need to rewrite our content. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't. Hire the right PR firm. Maybe we need to fire them and open a new. And
start questioning.
All this time, you're running around, jumping from one foot to the next, trying to figure out what you might have done wrong or how you can increase your viewership of your posts and create better content. But some kid behind the scenes is pulling the
right. Laughing the whole way.
Laughing their whole way. They pull it out from underneath you,
right.
And then it doesn't show up in any of the people that are following you in their feeds. Yeah. So you're posting your heart out.
It's disgusting.
And it's not showing up. So we detected that long time ago, and that was their first rudimentary, method for shadow banning people. And then you remember shadowban.eu came out.
Absolutely.
And we sent everybody there. Go there. Go put in your Twitter handles and find out, and they can detect whether or not you're being, search banned, and if you're being shadow banned, and there's different type of ways that they could detect. And then everybody started putting those little X's next to their names, which was a symbol that, hey, I'm being censored. And so that started going viral, and people started paying attention to it. And then President Trump pulled Jack Dorsey, looked like a hobo living in the woods for about 8 months, unshaven, unbathed probably.
Yeah.
Sitting in the White House in the Oval Office talking to the President of the United States, slouched in his chair like a bum.
Like a bum, yeah.
With no respect.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, I'm sure President Trump put him on the money, during that, meeting. And I'm sure it had a moment that, we know what you're doing. And I helped make sure of that. And then Jack went back to his developers and said, we got to do something different. We got to figure out more sophisticated ways to do it. And so then they, instead of shadow banning you, which was like a stun gun, they'd hit you with the stun gun. And remember the phasers in Star Trek? They could set it on low, they could set it on high, and then they could set it on vaporize.
Vaporize,
right?
yeah.
Well, that's what they were doing. They'd zap you in the side of the neck, with a stun gun, and you're tweeting, but nothing's happening, right? And then it would wear off after an hour or so. And you're like, oh, yeah, everybody's reciprocating again. and then he's been bad again, let's hit him again, let's turn it up a little bit, boom, and then it was 6 hours, and then it was maybe a day or a couple days.
Wow.
So we were able to detect that, and everybody became wise to it. We made sure of it, and then Jack left the White House, and we went back and said, well, we got to get more sophisticated. So instead of shadow banning you, they shadow banned individual tweets.
Wow.
So they started looking for search terms and key phrases within the actual tweets and hashtags and whatnot. Nope, we're not going to let them talk about that. Nope, we're not going to let them talk about the election. Nope, we're not going to. And so then people would go to shadowban.eu and type in their Twitter handle, and it would say, you're good. You're all good. It's all green lights. You're not being search banned. You're not being this banned, because they changed their algorithm.
Right.
Wow.
Okay? And so the shadowban.eu wasn't picking up that particular algorithm. So we detected that. Of course, and then spread it back out to everybody and say, hey, they got a new bag.
Yeah.
They got a new trick that they're doing on people. So they're getting more and more sophisticated. We have been lockstep with them, identifying these methodologies that they have been designing by system and design to shadow ban you, your friends, pastors. I've had pastors in the White House. I know half a dozen pastors that work very close with the President of the United States in the White House on a regular basis. We're asking people to pray. Paula White, a good friend, she's asking people to pray. She would ask me to amplify things
right.
that she would do for President Trump. We need the nation to pray. I'd help push things like that.
Yeah.
And then, you'd see that she's actually being censored. You'd see that other pastors are asking the nation to pray for their nation and pray for their president, and being censored for it. Pastors, okay? It is disgusting. And so, we've been detecting all these along the way and making certain that everybody, knows about it. And, we know a lot of key influencers, and we know a lot of people that, that can get the word, at the time to President Trump and make sure that they were informed about these methodologies that were taking place. So, we've been at the tip of the spear fighting against censorship since day one. So to answer your question, and I didn't mean to belabor all
No,
that,
I love it. I love that answer.
but I just want people to understand it.
Yes.
What they're doing, how they're doing it. And Bill Benny and I actually wrote a challenge. We challenged, we wrote an open letter challenge directly to Jack Dorsey.
Wow.
Me, Wizard of Twitter, and the former lead technical director of the NSA, who knows a little something about technology.
I would say so.
Knows a little something about graphing, endpoints and finding, algorithms and patterns.
Right.
And so we decided to write a challenge directly to Jack Dorsey, and we told him, listen, we understand that you told under congressional hearings under oath that you do not censor based on any type of political bias whatsoever on your platform. And we don't believe that.
Yeah.
And we would like for you to come to the American people and prove that you are not doing that. Please prove us wrong. And by the way, we're giving you 7 days to do it.
Wow.
Okay?
Did you get a response?
So we knew he could either respond and ignore us, which is fine, or he could respond, and if he does, either way, he's going to lose this battle.
Either way.
Guaranteed. Okay? And so at the end of the day, he didn't respond, but he did, there were some other things that took place. But at the end of the day, I think it was, first off, after we wrote the letter, I think it was Jim Jordan, coincidentally, wrote a letter about him and invited them back to the congressional hearings. Okay? Coincidentally. It was a couple days after we wrote the letter.
Interesting.
And then he got dragged in, and then all the tech companies started getting dragged back into the congressional hearings, coincidentally. And then a couple weeks after that, since, and we don't know who did this or how it worked, but coincidentally, somebody apparently paid somebody that was an employee at Twitter to take a snapshot of their actual control panels, and it came out that they actually do, surprise, have a thing called Blacklist.
Oh,
Twitter
you
has
don't
a little
say.
thing called Blacklist, and they actually have a system and a design and an actual software program with a dashboard that would allow them to censor you or censor what you're talking about. And not only that, censor entire global trends.
Right.
Period.
Right, it's a completely manufactured trending list. Everything you're seeing is fabricated. Everything you're seeing on Twitter
It's what they
and a lot
want
of
you to
social
see.
media.
It's what they want you to see.
Right, what they want you.
Not what's actually trending. What they want you to see.
Right.
Here's something to remember. If you never remember anything else that we ever talked about, remember this. He or she who drives the narrative drives the outcome. He or she who drives the narrative drives the outcome. Period.
That's right.
Okay?
Definitely.
So That's why they want to control and manipulate and have and own all the mainstream media. That's their megaphone. They can just blurt out to you and repeat it to you over and over and over again until you start to believe their lies, that this is the reality. And then people will go and gravitate in that direction. Look what happened with the mask. Look what happened with the mandates.
Right.
Look at the cows. We're all cows. We're all going at there. So we have to fight against things like that.
Right.
We have to set the record straight. It is our business to get about the business, to set the record straight. Period.
Amen.
And we have the right to do so, and we won't be censored. And that's led up to some new things now, to where we've started to build new networks.
Yeah, would you tell us about your network? Please, that's what I was getting to. I'm really excited about.
Well, I mean, based on all the censorship, we got tried to playing cat and mouse games, okay? But we know how to play those games with them, and that's fine, and we can still win, and we are. Believe it, people are waking up all over this world. This is a global thing. This is not just here in the United. This is a great awakening.
That's right.
That's what it is, okay? And the people are awake. The people are awake. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, it's too late. Cat's out of the bag. And so now it's fair fight again, okay? You wanted to control all the platforms. You wanted to control big tech. You wanted to control all of our abilities to talk about things and question things. Well, it backfired on you, okay? And so now not only do we know how to exploit the networks legally, okay, but we also now have decided to go ahead and build our own platforms and our own networks. And so that's the future of the news now, is going to be individual digital platforms, individual digital news reporters and investigators and journalists like yourselves that are the news. We are the news, right?
That's right.
Remember, you are the news now.
That's right.
Okay.
We believe it.
And so you might be able to stop people in your little monopoly of big tech platforms. Well, that's fine. We'll just go all around you.
Right. You woke up the beast, basically.
Yeah. Now, okay. Bottom line is, we literally have people that we would call hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions. There's how many billion in the world? There's hundreds of millions of quote-unquote citizen reporters now. Hundreds of millions. Citizen reporters, citizen journalists, citizen investigators, and all of them are constantly digging for information. And I promise you, everything leaks. We've seen it. It's been proven. Anything that's possibly newsworthy will leak. Burn a hole in somebody's pocket, even if they're trying to keep it quiet. Eventually you'll get out, because loose lips sink ships. So at the end of the day, something, if it's newsworthy, it's going to leak.
That's right.
I mean, look at these people that were supposed to be pretty smart people that worked in the FBI, didn't think that their private text messages would leak.
Right.
Oops. Okay. but they did. Kind of embarrassing for them. So if anything, when you have 100 million people that are digging constantly all over the World Wide Web, and they're adamant about it, and some of them are relentless in their abilities and skill sets to be able to dig for information, it's going to come out. So we're able to detect anything that's trending quickly, typically before the rest of the world starts reading about it, and then we're able to report it. We're able to talk about it. So
I want you to talk about your network, but I had something on my mind that I don't want to forget. With so much going on, if you remember, I know you weren't alive then, in 1776 or 75.
I might have been there. I might have been there.
We needed something called a Bill of Rights, right? Because it was crazy. It was chaos. We needed some structure. We needed, something to go by where we had protection, our freedoms, our God-given rights.
Sure.
Well, we're at an age right now, with this technology age and the future of the technology. And something with our crew that we've really been wanting to push out to anybody of a great mind, such as yourself, is an internet Bill of Rights, where we know the future. It's a wild, wild west out here in this internet. They're doing whatever they want. We need, like how we first came to America, we needed a Bill of Rights. Well, this internet, we need some type of structure, some Bill of Rights where we have freedoms, our own freedoms, and are protected, where big tech isn't in control.
I think that's an interesting concept, and I'd be willing to look into it with you. But I'm of the mindset, I'm not going to ask for permission to do things that I already have the right to do.
Amen.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you for my rights.
Amen.
I'm going to demand my rights.
That's right.
I'm not coming to you for permission to talk. I'm not coming to you for permission to put out good news and set the record straight and tell my friends about what's trending that they need to know about and probably need to amplify, especially when we're up against the monopolies that are censoring and shutting things down. Look at the laptop from hell whole thing. That whole thing was completely shut down, right? But again, it backfired because it leaked and it got out.
The Streisand effect.
And then before you know it, key influencers had it all over the country, and before everybody's talking about it, but all the mainstream media squashed it.
Yeah.
It's still an amazing phenomenon. But still people are thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and there are legitimate questions there. Some legitimate questions there. You know, about all of his dealings with his pop, the big guy, and Ukraine. And that's a big rabbit hole. Okay, and the tens of millions of people that are digital soldiers, digital reporters, digital whatever you want to call them.
That's right.
Are digging it all up, and it will see the light of day. Truth will see the light of day.
Absolutely.
It's a promise.
Well, Marcus, he had a Q
It
channel.
always does.
You know, what was your channel? Q. Quantum.
I have the Matrix Report. That was on Facebook. That got nuked.
Okay.
That was kind of organically grown. It was awesome. Like 500,000 engagements a week.
Wow.
It was awesome. And again, 99% organic. And then that inspired the show that I do, the Marcus Cohen Show. I've had like 4 YouTubes banned, the Twitter, The Purge with everyone. So.
I remember the Purge.
Yeah.
The Night of the Purge.
The Night of the Purge. I wanted to touch upon, I agree with you where you say, you know, in regard to Internet Bill of Rights, we don't want to ask permission for rights that we already are already ours, right?
But you can claim and radiate them.
Right,
and
right.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Well, we want them protected. Just like I'm not going to ask for someone for freedom of speech. I'm going to do it. But the thing back then, they need to protect it because there's freedom of speech. Then the police come in or whoever comes to throw you in jail because you're not protected. And we'll do that on the internet. We're not going to ask for permission, but then there's consequences that come with it. We're getting banned. If we have some type of protection, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say that the companies, the monopoly, the big tech tyrants, as I like to call them, they've taken advantage of the situation. So they clearly need to be reeled back in. Now, there's a second aspect.
And they'll be sued.
Yeah. Yes.
Trump talked about it last night. He's got a lawsuit pending right now.
And it's going to be glorious. I can't wait.
It will be.
There's a second concept to the Internet Bill of Rights, or IBOR. So in addition to just the censorship aspect, there's also this one of protecting your mind as intellectual property. So right now we have technology coming at us like a missile that is able to do all sorts of things, like implant thoughts into your head and advertise to you. Now people say, oh, that's crazy, it doesn't happen. Well, it's happening, it's there. And if 10 years ago we said, hey, take a piece of glass out and we could talk to you halfway around the world with zero latency, you'd say that's crazy. So this technology is coming at us whether we like it or not. And we need to take, like you said, take control of the narrative of this technology, so it's in the hands of the patriots, the good people, and not in the hands of people that only want to take over and do evil to the citizens of the world.
You know, I mean, it's something that people need to be obviously aware of, and they need to make informed decisions, and they need to know the potential consequences of things like this, and what are the side effects, what could happen, what's the worst could happen, you know, what does this do if you do that, what if you're interrupting, you know, by sending signals or whatever they're doing. And I know, you know, that they are working on these things. I'm no expert in it, but obviously it is mad science. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you necessarily should.
Sure.
So, you know, again, you know, I mean, the cloning and animals and things like that, there's probably some madman out there that's probably cloned a human somewhere. Who knows, okay? I don't know, but maybe. I don't think that's a far stretch, you know, for the imagination, especially when you know what's possible.
Right.
So, and you know, and usually, you know, the military gets involved and they want to use things for, you know, to weaponize or to use for warfare, God knows. So there's some, you know, these are very interesting times. You know, it's up to us to keep our hand on the wheel and to be involved. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't think that some white knight's going to come in and ride in and save the day.
Right.
That is not going to happen.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And if it does, wonderful. We'll all celebrate together. Okay. But at the same time, the answer is you. You know, you are. I tell everybody, you are the plan. You have to be the plan. You, everybody, have to step up, own it, claim it, radiate it, do the work. Right. Hope is not a strategy. You can't stand by and hope that things are going to work out.
Right. It takes action.
It takes action. It takes
massive action.
Faith to be able to know that you can do it. First place,
and perseverance.
take that first step.
Right.
Execution to do it. Okay. You know, the stamina to continue to keep trying and fail and fall and get up and do it again. I mean, what gold medalist ever did, on their first attempt did a double, triple backflip and land and stuck it perfect and got a gold medal? They fell on their face who knows how many times before they ever got to that point. So that's what I encourage all of you to do. Don't quit. Don't fail. I mean, if you fail, there's no failure. It's part of the process. You're learning.
Fail forward.
Fail forward. Yeah, you're learning how to do better. You're learning how to perfect something. You're learning how to circumvent censorship. You're learning how to make sure that you get your word out. You're learning how to network with people. You're learning how to talk to people, having conversation again,
right.
okay, over dinner and over coffee. You're learning how to be nice to people and let them know, hey, we're people too. We're human, and we might not agree on everything. We can agree to disagree, but we do have, some legitimate concerns, and this is why we believe that. And I respect, your viewpoint, and, don't hate on each other. Don't obviously always be peaceful. Lead by example.
Yes.
Lead by example. Be a good person. Be a good steward. Tend to the garden like God intended us to. We got to keep it clean and green.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the weeds will grow and then it everything's destroyed. So we got to be actively involved
and having conversations.
Like
when we're yelling at someone, no one's going to listen at us. If we could have some dialogue and some conversation,
yeah,
exactly.
Probably,
same reason they're terrified of Rogan, right? He's just having discussions,
asking questions.
The media's so jealous of him,
They are.
They're so jealous of him, and the message you just said, it's beautiful, and it's like so American, right? Like having different ideas and not being at each other's throats. This is what America was based on, what was built on. And everything being so toxic, I love the sentiment of never backing down, and that's what they want to do, right? The big tech tyrants, they want to demoralize you when they mess with the numbers and you have 10 people watching your stream or your video not getting it. They want you to quit. They want you to stop.
They want to demoralize you.
That's right. That's right.
So that's why I'm saying you can't quit.
And that's something that we've been, we've been like just pushing through the censorship. They knock us down. We go back up. They knock us down. We go back up.
Good for you.
And it is very frustrating. It can at times be disheartening, but you just got to stay positive and keep it going. And like you said, find a way.
And your network. You got to tell us about your network.
That's what we did. We found a way. We said, okay, well, we're tired of playing cat and mouse games with you guys. You guys are obviously getting more and more sophisticated with your algorithms, determining the global trends for everybody, so that you can drive the narrative and drive the outcome. So, we're going to go ahead and figure out what's next for us as we the people. Individual digital networks. That's the future of the news.
Yes.
Right.
The future of the news is individual reporters and investigators and journalists like yourself, okay? Some people call them digital soldiers. Whatever, okay? I mean,
we're digital soldiers. We're proud to be.
It's people, yeah, of course. I mean, listen, we're all battling it out for the hearts and minds of mankind. All of us. Every candidate that runs for office is battling it out for the hearts and minds of as many people as they possibly can, so they can win their votes.
That's right.
So don't gloss over this like this. It's not a battle. Of course it's a battle.
Absolutely.
Of course it's a battle. Contests are taking place as they're battles. Okay, and so we need to be able to continue to speak up. That's why we started building our own digital networks, and then make sure that they can't be shut down. So we have to build things that we can make sure that they can't just come in and rip out the rug up, from underneath us. And so when I say that, I'm saying, hey, listen, if you've got the means, if you have the wherewithal, if you know how to do it, if you got the tenacity, you can find some people around you that know things that you don't, that can do things that you can't. Build your own networks. I encourage you to do it. And there's ways to do it. But when you do it, don't build it on the big tech platforms.
AWS servers.
Don't build it on Amazon servers. Don't build it on Microsoft Azure servers. They're going to rip the rug out from underneath you. You're fooling yourself. Don't come out with there's so many, and I encourage everybody, because they're trying to find answers. They're trying to find how do we start our own Twitter? How do we do this? And then, hey, listen, if you've got to go to an app store, this is a fact. You got to go to an app store to download an app, and it's owned by big tech, Apple, Samsung. Then there's a point when they can say, hey, we don't like your content anymore, and you better change this or 86 this person. And take them off, right?
Yeah.
Take them off your network. Otherwise, we're going to have to pull the plug. You can't play those games any longer. Wow. Build your own networks. Build them on your own servers. Make sure that you actually own the server. Okay, make sure you've got good security people that know how to prevent people from attacking it. And make sure you have redundancy. And so that's what we've done. So we built a network that we call a truly secure communications platform. That's what we're claiming and radiating. That's kind of our tag, truly secure communications platform. And that means that we're not built on AWS and we're not built on Microsoft Azure. Okay, we're not going to depend on them. We're not on Samsung. We're not on Apple. We're on our own server systems that we have redundancy upon redundancy upon redundancy. And we are going to assure you that your voice is going to be heard And then they are not going to rip the rug out from underneath you. Not here, not now, not anytime soon.
Wow, I
And
love
so
it.
That's
that's
MAGAinfo.tv is our network.
MAGA
Everybody's heard of MAGA, right?
Yeah, we all know that one.
Okay. Info, MAGA info, because it's an information war that we're in.
That's right.
.tv instead of .com. It's .tv. TV says what it is. It's a new digital television revolution is what we're doing.
Beautiful.
And we're trying
Wow.
to spearhead this and pioneer it. And we're actually getting into the point where we're going to white label it for all you content creators that want to have your own networks that are truly secure communications
Wow.
platforms. And we're going to make sure that our content creators all have their own networks,
Awesome.
that they can't have the rug ripped out from underneath them.
Wow.
And let's let them play whack-a-mole with all of us.
You
Let's
set
see
up
how
like
that
a
works out for them.
You set up a plug and play system for in the
Yes.
future, so you just go straight into the system.
And it's coming soon.
Oh,
So
man, that's exciting.
MAGAinfo.tv is that operational as we speak?
It is as we speak. So we've just launched it. We're building an airplane on the runway as we're taking off in it.
Yep.
And that's
it.
how entrepreneurship is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But we don't have time to stop. We
No.
don't have time to play games. We got to stay in the fight, and we got to continue to build and develop and improve every chance we get, day after day, and every day we get better. And that's exactly what we're doing. But right now we're cruising at about 30,000 feet. Pretty steady right now.
I love it. MAGAinfo TV.
MAGAinfo.tv.
Oh, excuse me. MAGAinfo.tv. Go check it out right now. Everybody that's listening. I'm going to go in. So can people sign up or like what can they do right now? How can they interact?
Anybody that's a content creator right now can click the big button that says content creator. Fill out the form. I'll be talking with you.
So tonight we'll do that. We're in.
Yes, sir.
Oh, brother, we're doing it tonight in the hotel room.
All right.
Okay. Come
Well-
home to MAGAinfo.tv.
Man, anything else you'd like to tell the viewers that are listening? We appreciate you so much, and we're so thankful for you stopping by.
Stay in the good fight. God bless you. Keep your head up.
Thank
we
you.
win.
Well, that's
God
Jason Sullivan. We appreciate you, brother. Much love. God bless. Stay strong. And we appreciate you. See you next time, my man.